All right, welcome back to a new episode, a new week of Making Picks. My name's Nathan. I'm joined with my co-hosts Mark Salino and Will at Biased Opinions _ on Twitter. Two guys that are ready to quit football after yesterday's game.
Yeah,
So how are you guys feeling? Do you feel like you are just slightly shy, just like 1 point shy today?
A couple points actually shy, Nate. That's pretty not nice of you. Pretty nice of you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a couple points shy. I mean, I thought I'd be better when I woke up this morning, but I'm actually worse than I was last night when I went to sleep. It's always tough to lose on a last second field goal, especially when the kick before was it was missed and then happened that we were offside. So not feeling good, but then again, I got to be optimistic. There's an extra game this year, and it's only week 2, so it could only go up from here.
Yeah,
No, I'm
I'm a
not
Lions fan.
optimistic
I
at
say
all.
that every year.
Yeah, I'm pissed. I mean, I haven't showered yet. I haven't shaved. I haven't done anything. I don't think I've actually slept between the Yankees and the Giants last night here.
Mhm.
Basically down to the last strike, and you kind of blow a game to Baltimore, and then only to kind of have that trumped by the Giants and Washington game last night as well. So sucks. What are you gonna do? Haven't read a
Yeah.
newspaper. Haven't turned on Sports Center. Haven't done anything. This is kind of the types of things that you go through when you I don't know. It's week fucking number 2 here, and I'm already miserable over this shit.
This is what makes entertaining content right here.
Yeah,
Just
maybe entertaining for
diving
you, but
into the
this is
misery.
Yeah,
this
it's
sucks.
entertaining for you, Nate. It's
Yeah,
entertaining for you, but this is real life for fans
yeah,
like Mark and us. Okay,
Oh
and not only
man.
this year, I mean for the last several years. So,
yeah.
like I said, just
Oh
hoping for the best for the rest of the season. So.
yeah. Trust me, I got a lot of sad Giants fan friends this morning, and I just I remind them, you guys got jewelry within twice within the last 15 years. There's a lot of people out there that can't say that. So, as a Lions fan, no sympathy. I'm here for it. I'm here to poke you. But let's get into some more poking here. Who just went 5-0 with his picks in the last 2 weeks?
Congratulations,
This
Nate.
guy.
I know.
Yeah, right.
He's asking me a
Congratulations.
question like he doesn't know the answer to it. What
I
a
like
dick!
that. It's
I know.
as one of my good friends always says, the law of averages. So,
Mm.
it's good. You finished out week 1 well. I mean, but like I said before, this is good motivation for me. I like to be kept honest, and this definitely has put a fire under
Well,
me to
it
go
should
ahead and
also
get
be
going.
said that in the pick'em segment, he only made 2 picks. So for some
Right.
reason, he decided to pawn off his third pick over to you. But when we're looking at the other
The
pick'em stuff
strategy
over
worked.
here,
The
yeah, I
strategy
know. I
worked.
mean, it
So,
worked. Yeah, right. I
yeah,
mean,
it
he's
worked.
already got you behind the 8 ball. You end
Right.
up going 1 for 4 with your pick'em picks. Nathan 2-0. Again, I took the Giants week number 1 here, as well as the Falcons. So I hit on the Texans, but 1 for 2 with the pick'em stuff over here. Picked myself back up on the Sunday night Bears and Rams game. Went 3-0 with my prop picks on statement games. Nathan continued his hot streak and his string rolling, so he was a perfect 3-0 as well. And yeah, I guess a little work to do that's got to be done on your end here. You're 1 for 3, so we'll take a look at the totals for the year.
Well, Mark,
Two
that's
correct,
kind of you.
two,
That's
two,
kind of
two,
you.
2 for 6. 2 for 6 is the total for Will. Nathan 5-0, and I am 4-for-6.
Nice.
Heading
Okay.
into week number 2.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's go in, Mark, a little bit on what we're gonna do today in the show and what Statement Games is about.
Yeah, sure. So, Statement Games is just a game. We're playing a different game that's got a little bit of a different twist on fantasy sports. We'll dive into the game in a couple seconds over here. We do like to come to the table with some prizes and things like that. So, if you want to share my screen, I just hit the button that should be sharing, so you can actually see here. So a pretty exciting marquee matchup for week number 2 Sunday Night Football. You got the Kansas City Chiefs making the trip into Baltimore, taking on the Baltimore Ravens. So the contest that we're going to be doing for this week is if you go 10 for 10 with your picks, I am going to come to the table with 2 Lamar Jackson rookie cards. You're kind of not going to see right here. I mean, this looks. I might buy this anyway because and hold on to it if nobody kind of wins it over here. But you got a 2018 kind of Panini. This is an SGC Gem Mint 10 number card here, and then you kind of and I got the 2019 Panini Donruss. Lamar Jackson in a Gem Mint kind of 10 as well. You can see right now it's currently selling for about $150. I'll buy it now. Feature on eBay. However, if you go 10 for 10 with your picks, I'm just going to give these to you here. But here are the kind of conditions here. We just want to make sure that we get some of the other, rules kind of established over here. In order to qualify, you do have to be a subscriber to this YouTube channel. You also have to drop a comment in the comment section with what your Statement Games username is. And Nathan, maybe in a second here, you can log back out. I'll just show people how easy it is to kind of log back into the StatementGames.com solution, which is now kind of being white labeled and done in conjunction with our partners called Sports Hosts. But drop in the comment section what your Statement Games username is and who your number 10 pick is. And you're kind of qualify. But then also keep in mind, you have the ability to play in as many contests as you possibly want. We're only looking at your first entry. So by the time we actually get to Sunday, if there's, 10, 20, 30 contests that are actually running, you have the ability to join as many of those contests as you possibly can. However, it's just going to be your first initial entry that we're looking at as a qualification. So if you join contest number 3 and go 8 for 10 with your picks, but go 10 for 10 with your picks in contest number 6, unfortunately, we're only kind of taking a look at your first entry. But then again, this is a free-to-play game here, so it just adds a little bit of extra skin in this game that's got a little bit of a different twist on fantasy sports, and we'll talk about it right now.
Yeah. No, awesome. Let me flip over and we'll go through how to log in real quick. And what that looks like. So, obviously you can create an account if you don't have one. But click on login right here, brings you into this nice fancy page. I'll sign in with Google real quick. Go for my account. And boom, there I am. Yeah, so let's talk this game, this week 1 or no, I'm sorry, week 2 contest between Kansas City and Baltimore. What are you guys seeing in this? What do you think is do you think Lamar Jackson bounces back after the Oakland game last week?
I mean, he had a great game last week, right? He had a great game, but I just think that if you look at what Darren Waller and Las Vegas Raiders were able to do, and now you're going up against Travis Kelce. I'm all in. I'm all in on Kansas City this week, and even if Lamar Jackson does perform well, I just think that Kansas City is going to come away with the win. So I don't think that they're going to be able to do enough to slow down that offense, which is so much better than the Raiders offense. So I look for Lamar Jackson to put up some good stats, but at the end, I think Kansas City is going to come away with that win.
I like that.
Now, I'm a little concerned. Well, there's a couple of different things here. This is kind of a tough, or this is probably a tougher game for me to kind of handicap, and I'll get to it in a second here. However, I always just thought for the past a couple of years, Baltimore was probably one of the best front-running kind of teams in football. I mean, when's the last time that you saw the Ravens get out to a 14-0 lead and lose the game kind of outright? So I am very concerned with the Baltimore kind of defense. You talk about secondaries and safeties and things like that. Unfortunately, Ed Reed's not coming out of the stands and suiting up for Baltimore this week. So I'm kind of trying to take a look at how are they going to potentially contain a very high-powered offense like Kansas City. So I'm very conflicted in the fact that I love, from a betting perspective or from a gambling perspective, taking home teams who are getting points, especially in a primetime Monday night game here. But I'm also looking at it from the perspective of, I don't care whether your name is Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, or Baker Mayfield. None of those guys have ever beaten Patrick Mahomes. So I just kind of think it's one of those things here where I don't feel comfortable putting money on Baltimore or picking Baltimore to win the game until they can actually prove that they've gotten that monkey off of their back, which is eventually kind of beating Kansas City. So 3.5 points does kind of concern me, but I don't see how you could pick against Kansas City after seeing what that Ravens defense did this past Monday night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree. And I feel like the past two or three matchups where Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes have been have met, we always talk about it as being possibly like this really high scoring game, and I feel like it never really achieves that. There's always something like it becomes some weird defensive struggle. But I think after seeing what the Baltimore Ravens tried to do against the Raiders, I don't know if they have that defense dialed in like they've had in years past. So I think I'd give it, the plus side to Mahomes and the Chiefs there to possibly be able to get a little more offense going in this matchup compared to the ones in the past. So I like it to be I don't know if I want to say it's going to be a high scoring game, but I think it's going to be a lopsided game. I think it's going to be a matter of Jackson putting this team on his back. He's going to score a lot of fantasy points, but I think in the end, it's going to just be the team doesn't overcome and they probably lose. I want to say by at least a score and a half.
Interesting. Okay.
Wow. Okay. And that's the
I,
hot take from Nate, guys. That's the hot take from Nate. I like it.
So let's jump in, get into the picking here. And as always, we start with Mark, the man in charge. He's got to go first, so let's do it.
Well, I'll let some of the other things that I think that we've all kind of like alluded to, like over here. And if you guys don't pick it, I'm definitely gonna be kind of like loading up on it. However, I mean, since we just kind of showcased a Lamar kind of like Jackson couple of kind of good gem mint kind of like 10 cards, and I'm looking what he could possibly do here. I do think he's a good player, and I do think he's going to do everything he possibly can to keep his kind of team in this game here. So I know for him 200 is a lot, but I don't think he has any choice here. If Baltimore's going to keep in this game, they got to put up some points here. So I'm looking at Lamar Jackson over 200.5 passing yards.
All right. What do you say, Will?
Well, listen, again, I'm not going to get fancy. I can't get fancy this week because I got a lot of ground to make up after last week's debacle, and I'm at the bottom. So I'm going to stick to what I saw last week, and I'm hoping that this stays true. So going off of last week's game and seeing how tight end Darren Waller did against their defense, I'm going to go ahead and go all in on Travis Kelce. So give me Travis Kelce over 6.5 receptions.
Nice. There we go. All right, so now it's me for 2. You know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns here. Whether or not, I mean, the line is low. It's a 3.5 point spread. But I will say the Kansas City Chiefs will win by over 3.5 points, and I am going to. Here. Ooh, this one right here is my bread and butter. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'll take the over half a touchdown. I always like that that line of that running back just needs to get one, and it's so easy for them to just be on the 1 yard line and knock one in. So I always like that. Go for it, Will.
All right, staying with the same player, Travis Kelce. Again, I think that they're going to be able to get a lot of yards out of their tight end. So I'm going to go ahead with Travis Kelce over 87.5 receiving yards.
There it is. All right, I like that. What about you, Mark?
Wow. Well, I think we're going to I'm just going to pull the trigger. I like it in this like number 5 slot here, number 2 as well, because if it doesn't necessarily come true, I don't think I'm messing up anybody's card here, but I do kind of like points here. So points total for the game over 55.5.
Okay. All right. And you got 2 picks here.
Okay. I'm gonna stay in the same category. So Kansas City over 30.5 points.
All righty. All right, Will, what do you got for me?
All right, since we're gonna go, I'm on board with you guys. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, and so obviously, the quarterbacks are gonna have to be put up a lot of yards and points. So give me Patrick Mahomes over 312 and a half passing yards.
Nice. All right. Okay, so it wouldn't do justice. I am from the IDP guys. I gotta pick a defensive prop here. And what am I going with? I'm going to so I think I like the Chiefs defense. I mean, right up that front line is pretty electric. It's pretty good. I'm going with 2.5 sacks. They're going to get over 2.5 sacks in this. With I just I think that's the one I would go with over the turnovers. I think that Lamar Jackson is getting more accurate with his throws. He did have a fumble in this past game, if I remember correctly. But I think he's going to, be secure, and so I'm going with the sacks, and there it is. We'll take the last statement there off air, and give ourselves the competitive edge. But of course, if you are playing in this is contest 2 of the Kansas City versus Baltimore Sunday night game. And if you're playing against SG Live, just know that you're playing against myself, Will, and Mark. And Mark has come to the table with a offer for Lamar Jackson, 2 Lamar Jackson rookie cards. If you go 5 for 5 or 10 for 10, and make a comment and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make a comment on this episode. So
Yeah, then also keep in mind, we do check the timestamps on these comments. So if you're posting a comment 3 hours after the game has been played, we're gonna know. Now you got to state these obvious things here, because I know,
yeah, no,
there's
absolutely.
some
Okay.
sneaky people out there. I was
Just trying to
about
get
to
an
say
edge.
something a
Trying to
little
get
more
an edge.
colorful, but
Trying to
yeah,
get
trying
that
to get an
edge.
edge.
Trying to get an edge.
No,
Yeah,
every
all right.
single week that we kind of like record, I go back and I watch the show. I'm like, crap, I didn't outline kind of like all the rules. This is going to be the week that I get hit for like $650, and I'm going to be like, I got to honor it because I didn't outline all the rules.
Yep, that's it. Well, so that was a great episode. We've gone through and we've gotten a ticket together for the Baltimore versus Kansas City games. Thank you guys for for coming on and doing this. And then for everyone out there, make sure that you are following on all social medias at Statement Games. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Statement Games Inc. And of course, be playing statementgames.com on desktop or mobile.